Ugh! Heal! How did you get over... Oh, never mind. Okay, where is this place I'm trying to check out? Heal! Here we go.
Nothing of interest here.
Nope, no, that's not it. Found a few steps away here at the entrance of a building. Which building? Wentworth Street. Watson! This is ridiculous. I've got to have Watson, like, follow around here, and I'm looking for a rag. Is that it? That's it.
That's the spot where the apron and the message were found.
Here we go.
By PC Long. Now, let's recreate the scene. Remember, Watson, it was raining that night.
So spit on me!
To mimic raindrops hitting this wall while I write something with my chalk.
The Jews are not the men that will be blamed for nothing. But what does it mean?
What does this mean? I control
Have you
Dr.
found
Oh,
something
thank God I
to
have my
pour
own
water
light.
From Watson?
Find a container and some water. Let me remind you that it's night time and the street is deserted home.
So steal! Okay.
I have no reason to go that way.
At least now I finally have the actual lantern. Well, there's rainwater.
Water.
I just need to find something to carry it in. Oh! Up! Up! Lots of things. What? Okay.
A watering can. That's what I need.
But I can't reach it. Can I reach it from here?
A watering can. That may come in handy. Who knows?
I know. And the shadow knows.
That may come in handy.
of rope.
Who knows?
Okay, I'll use hook to get watering can. Thank God for spacebar.
A watering can. That's
Use hook.
a watering can.
Use
That's what
hook! I have a pole with a hook that has a handle. I can see it right there.
A watering can.
Oh, for
That's
fuck's sake! Something else?
An old wooden pole. A merchant probably threw it up.
Of course, it's not long enough, is it? It's like 3 feet away from me. Okay, there we go. Here we go. Oh, it's a bit taller than I thought it was. Yoink! Now, fill it up with water, and we're good to go. Sploosh. And here you are.
Have you found something for us to pour?
Yes, I have, Holmes.
Yes, I have. You control Sherlock. Why? Why this switch?
If this message were written by the killer, then it would have been lying in this entrance for up to 35 minutes before being discovered. Let's find out in what state it must have been. This message could not have withstood an entire night in the rain. During the investigations carried out on the night of the double murder, PC Hulse inspected the entrances of this street around 2:20 a.m. and confirmed to have seen nothing out of the ordinary. At 2:55 a.m., 35 minutes later, PC Long found Catherine Edow's piece of apron and the message in chalk. This message would not have withstood a whole night in the rain, as had I continued to water it for a little longer, I would certainly have erased it. It was written, therefore, at the moment when the piece of apron was dumped. This substantiates PC Hulse's statement, which stated he had seen neither of these during his rounds.
Okay.
After its discovery, it was guarded and protected from the rain, which was subsiding, which explains why it was still legible when it was erased at 5:30. My dear Watson,
Okay.
when you met PC Smith on his rounds in the street, where was he? On the pavement or in the middle of the road?
In the middle of the road, Holmes, without a shadow of a doubt.
Good.
Okay.
You'll go down the street with your lantern as if you were a policeman on patrol, using Smith's position as a guide. As soon as you see the entrance where I used the watering can, tell me if you see anything.
Toot, 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 toot. I see nothing.
There, Holmes. From here, I can see something written.
Can you read it?
No.
Do you see the white rag, Watson?
Yes.
No, you aren't in the right spot with the lamp, Watson.
I see something on the ground. But I'm
What-
not
why
sure
is
if it's
it-
what you were talking about.
PC Long, who found the piece of apron, was examining the interior of the entrances, and yet nobody would have predicted that this piece of material would be discovered on the very night of the murder by a policeman on patrol.
Huh.
What are you trying to get at, Holmes?
That's a good point.
Let's look at this message on the wall, Watson. The Jews are not the men who shall be blamed for nothing. In other words, the Jews were possibly blamed for nothing, but that will no longer be the case. Reading this message naturally begs one question. What would that be, Watson?
What are blaming the
Indeed, Watson,
Jews?
Why? For what reason would one have the right to blame the Jews in the future? Remember, Liz Stride was killed near a club for socialist Jews, Eddowes not far from the synagogue and the Imperial Club, and finally, this piece of apron dropped here. This building is occupied by Jewish families. The killer really did go out of his way to incriminate the Jews living in the area.
It's a bit
Okay.
obvious, Holmes.
Yes, but with the rumors, Watson, the author of this message would have received a response to his strategy.
You are right, Holmes. So perhaps it's a good thing this message was erased.
That's true.
Whoever took the decision to do this is a man of great wisdom and courage. Let's return to Baker Street, Watson. I have some pipes to smoke to help me think more clearly.
I need hookah now.
Let's go back to Baker Street.
Home sweet home. Right there. Alright. That makes sense to me. Baker Street, October 9th.
I had nightmares all night, Holmes.
Tentacles,
As for
tentacles,
you,
tentacles
I bet
all
you
the
didn't get
time.
a wink of sleep, did you? It's this chalk message business, isn't it?
Among
What?
other things.
And this lunatic is still running free. If only we knew what he looked like.
We've gotten like
But
3
we do know,
descriptions.
Watson. We have a fairly accurate description.
I must have missed an episode of your adventures, Holmes. Not only have I heard you discredit the value of our eyewitnesses, but the few descriptions we do have don't seem to correspond.
An inaccurate account can regain its value if we can discover why and to what extent the truth must be rewritten. We've learned a great many things tonight, and I'm able to tell you what our man looks like.
Really?
Yes, and we're going to need a few things, Watson. Find me 3 mannequins.
Oh my
working
God.
Costume, my 3 full wigs, one of your worn garments. Yes, that can be used for the workman's outfit, and one of your old suits. Oh, and my deer stalker, the one I never wear, but everyone seems to think I wear day and night.
Nice reference. Oh, that I love that ref. That was great. There's one mannequin. Hat. I love that. One I never wear, but everyone seems to think I do. And empty. Thank you very much. And closed. And what's in here? A wig. A letter. Another mannequin. Hat. I love that. Clothes.
A wig. This will come.
Another wig. Holmes's bust. Okay, that's Holmes's stuff taken care of. Alright. Pick up the third oh, there's the other mannequin. Yoink. 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 Alright. Why do we have these, by the way?
So, as for one of the murders, we have no witnesses whatsoever. As for the three other, we have at least one person who claims to have seen the victims talking to a man a few minutes before their death. Do you remember whom these would be, Watson?
Not really. Okay, apply the height, the age, the clothing of the mannequins, basing yourself on the three witnesses. Okay, so I gotta discover the, Somolomonovich. Claim yourself. Yeah, I want to use that as proof. No, not that thing. Okay, so the first thing you need to do is you need to find the three witness testimonies of the three people who saw Jack the Ripper, or think that they saw him. And that's the testimony we just got from the Jewish rabbi, the testimony that we got at the very beginning of the game from E. Long, which is actually in documents, not dialogue, so it took me a while to find that one, and then the testimony of the police constable who was wandering around Whitechapel the night of the double murder and found the body. The first one.
Bravo, Watson. There are our three witnesses.
Okay, now that you have the testimonies, you can start preparing the dummies, and the first thing you need to do is set them to the correct height. But, as I pointed out earlier when I first heard it, there is a slight complication with the rabbi's testimony.
There is an error, Watson. Let's reread Abraham's testimony.
Now, remember that while one Joseph said that Jack was about 5'7", the other Joseph said that the lady was no more than 5 feet tall, and the man with her was about 3 inches taller than her. So, once you plug in the second height, as well as the blonde wig, the appropriate clothing, and the agreed-upon age between the two Josephs, about 30 years old, Holmes will then accept it, and we can move on to the next dummy.
There we are. Magnificent. Indeed, Watson, that's the right size for Abraham's mannequin. The account given by Mr. Solomonich's friend is incorrect in at least one point. The first Joseph said that the man was at least 5 foot 7 inches tall. The second Joseph said he was 3 inches taller than the victim, whom we know was 5 feet tall, which would suggest a height of 5 foot 3 inches. Don't forget that it was this second Joseph who attracted his friend's attention towards the couple on the other side of the road. We can assume he got a very good look at them.
Okay, and now once we've got that out of the way, go back into your notes and look over the testimony of E. Long, or PC if you prefer, but I went with E. Long. Adjust your dummy accordingly, and then Holmes will give you a hint as to how to prepare the policeman's dummy.
As for young P.C. Smith's account, he must have been mistaken about this person's real height. It is only an inch or two after all, and we can attribute the same height as the other two.
But before we move on to PC, we're going to make sure that we dress up E. Long's dummy appropriately. We're going to want to use the dark brown wig, the appropriate clothing, and the age, which E. Long said was like around 40 or so.
Perfect, Watson.
And now we begin the constable's testimony, who was so far out of the goddamn ballpark, I don't even think he was looking at Jack. He says that he was around 5'8", around 26 years old. Ridiculously vague impression, and to make matters worse, when I was doing this, I didn't have all the items I needed. I needed to go actually and find a third hat for this guy. So, it took me a little while to figure out exactly what Holmes wanted me to do with him, but eventually I figured it out. The hat that I'm missing, by the way, is directly behind me on the coat rack. By the doors. So as soon as you come out of this puzzle, just turn right around. It's right there. What I did spend a lot of time looking for was a red scarf, because the Jewish rabbi, he says that the guy that they see is wearing a red scarf. And I kept looking around because I didn't think I had that dummy done, but you do not need the red scarf. There is no red scarf to be had. So just find the hat, turn around, put it on the mannequin, and Holmes will tell you what to do next.